Hey, so you want to live the laptop lifestyle, live anywhere in the world, become a digital nomad? Let's talk about that today. And one of the first things you need to do before you actually make that a reality. Hey, I'm Rachel Ngom. I help purpose driven entrepreneurs get more leads and sales so they can live a life of freedom, time freedom, location freedom, do the things they want to do when they want to do it, where they want to do it. We recently moved to Senegal, West Africa. I've had an online business for the past 10 years. We've lived in France for 2 years, and it's been amazing. I've had so many people ask me, how the heck do you do this? How do you create a business where you can be anywhere? And so I want to share with you step one of my 5-step framework today on what it is that you need to do, how you can actually start and plan having that location freedom that you desire. Okay. So the first thing that you want to do is set that goal and set that intention. First off, where do you want to live? Where do you want to be? I actually I journal all the time. And so I have my little journal here. And before we actually moved to France, before we had the opportunity, before we knew anything or had connections about living in France, I wrote down, we live in France. That was like a huge dream of mine. I thought that would have been so cool. So I wrote that down. I didn't know, again, like connections, anything. And it ended up happening like a year or two later, which was so cool. Okay. So know where it is that you want to go. And then finances and getting all of that in order is going to be a big thing. Okay. So understand how much do you need to earn in your business to be able to finance that move and to help you live, right? Like what's your monthly expenses going to be? So moving expenses, how much do you need to have saved up to make the move? And I'll share with you some of the moving expenses that we had. Actually, I will share in the description a blog post that I did where I have screenshots of our expenses and everything. So how much do you have saved up to make the move? And then how much is going to cost on average per month to live there? If you have no clue, join some Facebook groups because there are Facebook groups for pretty much every city. For Dakar, Senegal, there's a ton of different Facebook groups. And I was able to go in there and see like what schools there were for our son, like and how much would they cost and what are like the pros and cons of different areas. There's community, I'm guessing pretty much everywhere on Facebook where you can just go and learn and connect with other people and ask questions. For moving expenses, this is going to vary so widely depending on where it is that you're going and what it is that you're bringing with you and what it is that you need to buy. Like it's going to vary so much. I'll share with you my experience from us moving to France and then our experience of moving to Senegal. So when we moved to France, we shipped a few suitcases over, thinking that was going to be cheaper than buying stuff in France with the euro. Sadly mistaken because you have to pay taxes on everything that you bring in. So we ended up paying, I think, $2,000 or $4,000 in taxes on a few suitcases that was filled with stupid stuff like toothpaste and deodorant. So don't do that. You can buy stuff there cheaply. Some of the that's pretty much all that we shipped over. The rest we just brought in suitcases. And then we bought our stuff in France on leboncoin.com. And it's basically like Craigslist in France. And we were able to furnish our 3-bedroom apartment for €2,000. And that includes appliances, refrigerator, not a dishwasher. We didn't have a dishwasher, but like washing machine, dryer, and all of that stuff. So it was pretty cheap to get set up there. We didn't have a shipping container or anything. Senegal is a different story. Getting set up in Senegal is actually a lot more expensive. Buying furniture in Senegal is very expensive, as is a car. So we bought a car in France between 6 and 8,000 euros. I want to say it's not like the fanciest car in the world. In Senegal, we shipped our Hyundai over from America. And so car cost $8,000, shipping cost was $4,000. So just understand you can buy a car in your location sometimes and or you can ship it over. There's going to be shipping costs, customs, all of that stuff. So just keep these things in mind as you're planning the move because it starts to add up, okay? If you're going to do a shipping container, do your research. You can share a shipping container. You can have your own shipping container. They vary in size anywhere. We spent, I believe, $4,000 to ship all of our items from France to Senegal. Again, they're going to vary widely. We're going to get a 40-foot container to ship stuff from America to Senegal and get another SUV and like all kinds of stuff. And that'll be around $11,000 when it's all said and done. So it can be quite pricey, okay? Another thing to understand is some countries you're going to pay more in rent and you might have to pay rent up front. So to get into our apartment here in Senegal, we had to pay 3 months rent up front and like another, like as a security deposit, and then another month's rent. So understand you might have to have like several $1,000s stashed up to make the move and make it happen. Not every place is going to be like this. Every place is going to be different. There could be cheaper ways to do things, obviously cheaper places. So do your research, but just go in knowing and being prepared. Next thing is knowing your expenses. And so again, in the Facebook groups, you could just ask, like join, interact, mingle, and ask like, what are like monthly expenses when it comes to food and housing and that kind of thing. And they could totally vary so widely depending on where you are. So in France, for example, if you're in Paris, it's gonna be super expensive. In Le Mans, where we were, it was outside of Paris. We had a 3-bedroom apartment. It was beautiful. I loved it, like right downtown for less than 900 euros a month. It was great. In Senegal, again, it varies so widely. We were staying in a 3-bedroom apartment for 500 euros, I believe, a month. The apartment was livable, the neighborhood was not. So I'm like, we can't be so cheap. Gotta spend a little bit more. So we're living in a great neighborhood right now. It is $1,300 a month, so it's a little bit more expensive. I love the neighborhood where we are, where we can walk to the beach. There's a park, and there's an actual park with real grass, like right down the street. So it's actually quite nice. There are neighborhoods in Dakar, Senegal, where a 3-bedroom apartment is going to cost $4,000 a month. So again, neighborhood, location, those are all going to vary. If you have kids, sending them to school in France, school is free. It was great. Here, if we want to send them to an American school, it costs anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 a year. French school, $300 to $500 a month. Other things to think about. So we got rent, gas, phone, health insurance, all that stuff just to think about, okay? Once you know your numbers and you know moving expenses plus regular expenses are going to be coming up, how much do you need to earn in your business? And so is your goal going to be, all right, in the next 12 months, like when you want to make the move and how much you need to earn to make that happen? We want to have $30,000 stashed up for the move, for unplanned expenses, all of that stuff. In the next year, we need to be making at least 30 grand in profit. Set your goal. Figure out what that looks like. And then we need to be making at least $5,000 a month to cover living expenses of wherever it is that we are. So that is step one. And I'll be covering the next 4 steps if you go to the blog post in the link of this video. So I want to know, where do you want to go? Where's like your dream location? You could be anywhere in the world. Where does that look like for you? I want to know. So comment below and I'll talk to you later. Bye.